What's up, y'all? Welcome to another live interview with SW Podcast Cast. And our wonderful guest today, we have Mr. Seldrik Notty Black Johnson.
Bowtie himself. Genius.
The Bowtie Genius. The Bowtie Genius podcast. The Bowtie Genius producer. The Notty Black. How we gonna sum that up? Because there's so much going on out here.
Genius.
Just genius, all right. So
We work with that.
what's up? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
No, I'm chilling, man. Just getting there, working hard, maintaining, staying black.
Yeah. How's it going down here in Denver?
It's going.
It's going.
Jacksonville. A whole lot of something and nothing at the same time.
Okay. Well, break that down for the people who don't understand something else, because some of us.
It's a whole lot to get into.
Okay, there we go.
It's a whole lot you don't want to do.
There we go. Something and nothing, y'all. That's the definition. So, we are here live at. We just using a little facility right now, eating a little food, sipping on a little drink.
Yeah.
And we got home team in the building for one. You know, we travel down here to have some interviews with our home team people that are doing big things in this area. And we did one today, and now we at our next location with me. And I want him to give us a little bit of detail of all the different genius things that he got going on. Just give us a little breakdown of each thing.
Well, as y'all know, I do bow ties online. Seldrik Johnson, bow ties, bowtiegenius.com. Check with us. I got the Bowtie Genius podcast. And I'm ready to crank back up again, put it on pause because I had to get some things together with my family.
Right.
You know what I mean? I still do production, music, Nappy Headz. Still do that. And just a lot of other stuff. I'm just trying different things, you know what I mean? I got something I'm working on right now. I was going to release it. I'm still trying to tweak it. It's for our people that deal with high blood pressure and things like that. I got something coming out. So y'all be ready for that.
Okay. So natural stuff. Okay, good. That's good to hear. I like hearing that. You stepping onto the supplemental area.
Yeah, we got to look out for our people.
That's right. A lot of people older than others, but we definitely get old. And then for the ones that have no idea of Nappy Headz, Nappy Boy, tell them about that.
Yeah, I was in the group in the early 2000s, Nappy Headz. We had a song named Robbery. Pretty sure y'all know about Robbery. FLA and a few other songs. And there was 8 of us in the group. Tallahassee, Florida, from the Ridge Road area, Rickers High School. And we put on for the city, man, for the state, Southeast. We did it real big. Now, I'm going to bigger and better things. Not big little than that, but it's my time.
Doing more for Mr. Johnson.
That's right.
Okay, so tell me about the Bowtie Genius, not the podcast, the actual Bowtie Genius segment of your life. What made you get interested in bow ties, and what aspect of your life did you decide this is what I want to do?
I always like to dress. I tell you, I'm a good dresser. And I just wanted to put on one day, but I couldn't find the one I wanted. Like, get my wife in certain. I'll try one out. I couldn't find one out. I could find one, so I told her, I'm making you one. And that one turned into many. And that's how I really got started. And it's kind of like, you've been there, like, yeah. So when I was telling her, it was like, okay. Then when she actually saw me doing it, she was like, oh, man, I'm serious. I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. And like, all the older people complimented me, like, because back then, when I started doing it, young people had to start back wearing bow ties. Right. The older people were still wearing them. And that's how I really got started. And started doing, the social media thing. And advertising, marketing. And it took off. And I'm doing real good. I sold bow ties as far as Germany, Russia, Hawaii, Poland.
So we internationally known.
Yeah.
And they went Johnson bow tie stuff. So how?
And the ones those were custom bow ties.
But all of your stuff is custom though, right?
No.
So some of it just general.
Somebody might have a wedding party and say, hey man, we need 10 black bow ties. I'm not gonna make 10 black bow ties, and I know I can find 10 black bow ties for cheap to build.
Right.
So I'll do that. I'll pay little man on that and won't charge them extra.
I got
You know what I mean?
But for your stuff, the quality of your stuff, that's custom.
Custom. Yeah.
Because I know I've gotten custom made stuff from you before. Just like throw out some colors that I like and you pretty much just handle the creativity on it.
And I like for the I actually like for the people to be involved. I would do it. Somebody call me and say, hey, I need a bow tie, and I'm like, okay, what's the occasion when you need it? They tell me what's the occasion when they need it. They can't come up with a call and say, oh, you do it. I hate it. Because I want a general idea of, I don't want to do it and say, no, I don't like it.
You want to put their
okay, you do
so
it.
you like
do
the
it.
stamp of them on it.
Yeah.
So it can be.
They involved in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they can say, I personally designed this also. I don't care.
Right.
Because it was their idea first.
So you telling me you're a seamstress?
I do what I do when I do it. Yeah, I hit the sewing machine.
So you work in the sewing machine?
Don't ask me to make a pair of jeans or some shit. I ain't doing that.
Now I know two black men that can sew. The first black man that I knew that could sew was Mr. Randolph and Randolph Alteration.
Where?
Both sides.
What?
4th Avenue.
Yeah.
First black man I know. My mom used to work for him. So that's the first. I never knew men took the time to actually learn to sew.
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, in that department, men make most money out of it.
I know that. Because they're the most creative women.
I won't say that.
But yeah, it's because for one, women don't wear bow ties. So the style and the technique behind what y'all want and what y'all looking for will definitely come from the eye.
Yeah, no, I mean like,
seamstress,
period. Yeah.
Okay, so men make more money than that? Okay, that's cool. That's a little known black man.
To like the 40s and 30s, it was a lot of men.
Yeah, it was a lot of men.
30s and 40s and stuff.
Lost stores.
Yeah.
So, okay, so moving along to the, you got any questions you want? Got for him about the bow tie?
And then I had influences. Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan was an influence.
You know, see, a lot of people don't know about Dapper Dan.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. Dapper Dan is who really made Gucci, Louis, what it actually is. Like, he took stuff and like, oh my God, I wish people would actually like really research his story, because Gucci and Louis will really be who they are if it weren't for Dapper Dan using their samples and making the stuff for the rappers and different stuff like that.
I mean, now that this has nothing to do with social media, but internet period.
Yeah.
You're able to find stuff. See, he was in the area New York had. It was a fashion district already. So he had the material. We didn't. We either had to drive up there or knew somebody that had it.
Right.
Now we can go online and find the stuff and they.
But isn't it true that in the northern part of the world, bow ties have always been more fashionable than in the southern part?
I wouldn't say
The only reason but I say that is because of the fact that they had more access to the fashion type of.
Actually, a lot of Southerners started wearing bow ties too.
Well, I know they.
But they was made.
I'm talking about as far as the creativeness goes.
Yeah.
Because they had more access to the fashion label, fashion brands, so they had more universal things to use.
Yeah.
We had more. We was solid color and things, and you know what I'm saying.
Focusite material.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But you got let's see now you got New York, you got LA, Miami.
A lot of people don't know about
and
Miami.
Atlanta has a big fashion district people don't know about.
People don't know about Atlanta as well.
It's a few. And in between.
And Chicago.
Yeah.
And Dallas also
They're
have
doing it
too.
now. Yeah.
Dallas doing it now too.
But we talking about a lot of areas too that deal in like the Harlem Renaissance area type stuff. So fashion was really huge. That thing, both
And
sides.
creativity.
Creativity, both sides was huge at the end, you know. So our people have always had the fashion statement. We just like to sample things to make it better and to make it more relevant today. So you took the bow tie jeans list and turned it into a podcast. How did you decide on the name of that? Because you only talk about bow tie stuff and you elevate the conversation.
That's where the jeans came in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it came in. Actually, we doing the bow ties opened my eyes up to other things. You know what I'm saying? And I said I want to try. I'm gonna do a podcast. It's just something I thought of and said, hey, I'm gonna do it. If I do the bow ties, I can do it. You know what I mean? And if I lose, or if I fail, I'm gonna learn from it. And I know how to come back again and do it again. And that's really what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's for everything.
That's it, yeah.
But
It's a new level though.
both of them was kind of like stuff I was already doing. So for the bow ties stuff, I used to create stuff in high school. Miss West class and the Ripples. And you know what I'm saying? And I had stuff that went to the when they had an art contest down south and stuff, she used to send my stuff home.
Okay.
And it kind of like, that's what the bow ties remind me of, me just sitting there in art class creating stuff, you know what I mean? And as for the podcast, actually, I wasn't doing music for a while. So it was like one day I got on it and they hear my voice again, it was like, okay. So I was like, that's what I want to do. And I want to talk about stuff that other podcasts want to talk about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And plus I'm doing it solo. So a lot of stuff I have to do research on and I have to find, you know what I mean?
And that's not anything, honestly, because when we don't, putting together the podcast show is never as easy as it may seem.
Yeah.
Because you gotta keep things on point with what you're talking about, keeping things in line.
You don't have to veer off. You can't veer off.
Right, and veering off all the time. Especially when you're focusing on a particular topic for the show. That's what your focus is. Your facts based on that, your quotes gonna be based on that. So everything kind of gears around that. So for us, having just being able to just have an initial conversation, and knowing that we can have this conversation just off this stuff,
and y'all can flow off each other.
Yeah,
I like that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people have podcasts that have partners and they don't flow.
But you gotta learn that. It's something you have to learn because I know exactly. We kind of picking up on we can pick up on each other's strengths and weaknesses in certain areas too.
But I listen to podcasts all the time, and some people they just try to force it. And it's not on the low end like how we are. It's like you got some $1 million podcast that it don't flow right. And I guess I can hear that because I do the podcast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
When I listen, to even get the ideas and have the structure of the show, you have to listen to other shows. You got to make sure that your element of what you're trying to do isn't, for one, sampling others.
Yeah.
But if you are, you're doing something a little bit different to keep yours just a little bit different.
You switch the everybody a little bit.
Exactly. So you went from the bow ties to taking your genius to the podcast and utilizing your resources from your production area of life to have your podcast. So because listening to some of your shows, a lot of people that you kind of collaborate with that either work in the fields of doing that type of stuff, but also just in business in general. Is that, how do you come up with your guests? How do you come up with your topics?
Actually, all of my guests are people that I'm personally connected to. There's nobody that I'm like, oh, I mean, it could be somebody I like what you do. Let's sit down, let's talk. But most of the people connected that I'm already connected with.
And you connected with a lot of people, so you can make the show interesting.
And I think
anyway.
I want to say, I think I try to force people to think different with podcasts. They might not want to listen to that podcast, but it's like, oh, it's different. Let me hear something about something. I never heard nobody talk about car insurance. Some shit like that. You know what I mean? So let me just check it out. I don't care if it's a minute. Let me just check it out. You know what I mean? See what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I just try to get different concepts like that. I hate because my wife was like, well, Breakfast Club, talk about it. And I don't want to talk about everyday things. Everybody talking about it. I see it on Facebook every day. The same stuff they talk about every day, I see it on social media. I don't want to talk about that.
And I don't want my relevancy our relevance to be based on drama.
Yeah. That's how it was.
Like, you know, when we decided how we were gonna take this podcast to be listening to the eyes of the world to brown skinned women. It's not everybody not trying to tell you how they feel on their podcast. They're telling you about what's going on in the world or what others feel and what other views. We don't come on here trying to give you facts on how things are on a regular basis. We're gonna give you a couple of facts. We're gonna give you some stats, but it's gonna be mostly opinionated agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can go walk away from this podcast feeling like, oh, they just lying to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna walk away knowing that these people feel strongly about this versus.
And if you have a disagreement, go and do your research.
That's it. So, and then we say that all the time. If you don't have, if you feel differently about this, if you have a different idea of what it should be, comment, email us, hit us up, and we'll bring you on because we want to know that we don't, the world, we can't just agree on everything. We're gonna have a different, we have different views, we have different ideas. So when you walk into a certain arena, you gotta know that everybody's not agreeing with you. Everybody's not gonna be showing with you. Everybody's not trying to, see what you got going on. Some people just want to see what you got going on so they can take that and make it theirs. It ain't always just to support you. So you gotta kind of, and you can't really balance that. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And like, it's crazy because like, out of all my episodes, the biggest one was about 7 habits of men grooming, and that was the biggest one. And I had so many women. I did it for men.
Right.
To understand what we need. I had so many women inbox me and was telling me that about that podcast. And I was like, and one girl told me, I'll never forget, she was like, I think my husband listened to your podcast. And he didn't tell her that. She just said, she's like, because of stuff I was saying, she like, he started doing it. And she finally asked him, she called me back, she said, I knew he listened to your podcast because the stuff you were saying, he actually started doing.
Wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And
but
I'm not embarrassed by it. I
take my
wife will tell you, like wipes and shit, I keep wipes. Like, dudes don't understand that.
In my car every time. I don't take it. They go everywhere.
I'm getting there from at work. When I can come home, take a shower, my damn drawers dirty as hell, and you don't sweat it off. No. Come on, man.
I'm not gonna play with you today. But I understand. But I do understand that. It's important. No. A lot of men don't take grooming serious anyway. I actually heard a guy say to me, I took a shower one time a day. I don't care what I do.
Damn.
So you mean to fucking tell me? Mark said, damn, wait. Mark holding the camera and Mark said, damn.
You real stank.
I can't deal with him. Listen to why, and you know that bothered me so much. It really did. It hurt my feelings because I was like, this is wrong ass man.
I can't teenagers saying something like that.
This is wrong ass man. So you trying to tell me, okay.
So when's the one time?
Look. So I started talking trying to figure that out. I try to figure that out because I want to know if it's in the morning. You know what the whole
That means you get in your bed.
You know, I've heard women actually say
do that.
they don't bathe at night, they bathe in the morning. Women, I've heard women say that.
Sometimes 3 times.
I've heard women say that. But what my whole point is that just because we groom differently doesn't mean that you should be filthy.
Yeah.
When you get older, you have to learn a different grooming process for your skin, for what not just what you were raised on. You got to do things that benefit you wholly. Because if one time one bath a day, you do the type of job that got you sweating all fucking day.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what? Me moving from Tallahassee to Jacksonville, that kind of changed my habit like that too. Because I didn't know the water was that hard. So when I first moved down here, like the first month I was here, dude. My skin was like,
my body hurt.
My skin was like weapon up from taking showers because they water. I didn't know they had hot water like that.
That wasn't so hard.
That's how it is in Copan.
Yeah.
That wasn't so hard.
So I thought something was wrong. I had to go to the doctor. I really
There's
thought something was wrong.
so much calcium in the water in Jacksonville. I learned that in the hotels. When I would travel here, the water used to be so hard that it felt like cream was on my skin. Like I felt never clean.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? They said that. They said that.
I took my wife home one time and I told her that we don't go around the phone.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I don't believe that. So we went to my mama's house.
My mama do that every day
We went to my mama's house. And she told me to give her some water. I got some water. I put it in there and I put ice in the water. She drunk. She said, give me some more. She thought, but my mama got a filter thing.
From like the refrigerator or on the site.
In the refrigerator.
Okay,
It's
refrigerator.
filter, yeah. So, but I was getting it. She didn't know it. And she was drinking. And I said, just got to drink a glass of water. She said, no, I didn't. I said, you just got to drink. My mama looked at it. She said, you were fixing to do She said, you always told me the water.
We got good
Water
water.
shit down here.
You
Kill me.
You can't drink this water.
Try that at Jacksonville.
You can't drink that water here. You can't drink this water here.
You can if you be out there in Main Street doing breakdance or something.
Yeah, that's how you
To a zombie.
it really how you messed up. This bottled water here any day. So we talked about how you know, the juncture thing, how it started with Nappy Boy. How old were y'all when Nappy Headz
I was in my early 20s. I think a lot of them were teenagers. I was in my early 20s.
Yeah, but you and who else are older? How old are you?
I was like 4 or 3 years old.
Okay, well, shit. I'm not going to ask you on camera how old you look. I don't do stuff like that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Oh, stop that.
Shout out.
Shout out to the whole Nappy Headz in general, y'all.
Look, man, I go crazy every time that song comes. We at my party.
Right. Like, listen, y'all, like, a home team.
I was in my early 20s. So that's
When that started,
I started music when I was 13 in 1991. And I started with, I don't know if y'all remember, I do that Clayton.
yeah, of course.
Speaking of ladies, this morning.
Another conversation about Ladies Day.
Wow.
So the park, Tom Brown Park,
All of
that.
it. Wow.
You've been out there a long time. So you got history. So you bring it. So, but you did kind of what a lot of our natives do that branch off and go other areas. You take your history with you. It don't just stop and recreate itself. You bring your history so that you can continue forging it into the different things that you work on a regular basis.
I do my own engineering, I do my own, all my audio, I do my
That's why I already knew that. We need an intro. We need something like that now. We need an intro. We've been thinking about that, but we haven't thought about the type of intro we won't get. That's what it is. And so I know that we gotta actually put that together. We haven't sat and said, what we want to do.
We're saying we want one, but we don't know what
We don't know what type of intro we're looking for because we know that we've been called the Auntie Show. We've been called.
Who came up with that?
Oh, okay, but
But that's the first time I heard it, but that's not the only time I've heard it. Several people have said, y'all sound like Auntie.
and that's for the 40 though. 40-year-olds now, we auntie.
Yeah, and I don't mind it. Now, I've accepted it because I am an auntie out here in this world, so it is real. So, but we've heard several different aspects. We've heard we should do a jingle in the front. We want a jingle, but we kind of trying to get an understanding of what type of jingle we want. It's kind of based on that, the technique. We're gonna get us some new pictures done too soon because we want to keep on. It's been a year. We want to keep on updating and upgrading everything, but to know that everybody keeps telling, like for us, I think Queen's eyesight into this promo tour is what made me see it as a brightener. Because she started was like, Queen, you know what the fuck this is we finna do? And I like
The idea.
it was just an idea, and I'm like, well,
It's a
let's do
tour.
this, Queen. And then when I told her, she was like, and I was like, what's the tour, Queen? And she was like, no, it's not. And she made me see more of the vision, more of what it was, because it's intimate, you get to learn. And you get, and not only that, you build a and you're helping along the way. So I feel like you may not feel like this may be a help to you, but it may be a help for us or in the reverse type of thing. It's kind of just like giving people notoriety for what they did, because even with our earlier interview today, a lot of people didn't know what the person we interviewed did, but now they get this record to like, listen, you know, I was doing this, this was going on.
And then it's still on the side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I like about it.
That's what this is the purpose of this, to give people that other side of you. Because people, a lot of us, and I don't know why people our age still say stuff like this, because it kind of hurt my nerves. But when a person say that ain't the same person from high school, this is that supposed to be the same person from high school?
Almost the
No,
same
no, no.
person from
Like,
last
do
year.
y'all know?
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm not evolving, that's a problem. Like if you're expecting
That's
to
what
see,
anybody.
Yeah.
but if you're expecting to see the same person you saw 25 years ago, you small. It's not them.
Or next time, ask them what is the same person.
What is the same person?
But then that's then
Everybody
then
has
people
growth.
don't. But then people when they get caught with that one, because I have asked that before, they get stumbling with that one because then they expect so little of you,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, it's
Then you turn to the upper person. Because you asked that
You asked
question.
that question.
It's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
But this type of the tour was just for us to say, you know, this type of stuff is relevant. It's a reason podcasting is not just sitting there in the studio.
I like it different. I like it.
Twist on.
I like it. Look how many. Look. Look at the people. Look at the different cultures, different backgrounds.
Yeah.
That you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I like that. When you first told me about it, I was like, I like that.
It's been good. It's been very, very fulfilling. I'll say that. You know.
Everything that's in Florida.
We're
So far-
we got to go to Georgia next week.
Okay.
We'll be in Atlanta next week.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. It's gonna be good. We got a lot going on in Georgia. I think we're gonna be tired when we be in Georgia because you know you got a lot already with the traveling in Georgia. But then
Flying around.
and then we got the events and stuff. So, but this is anything, and everybody pretty much that we deal with when we travel is pretty much people we know from either our home team or from our home area, which is why Fort Meade's trip was so important for Candace to go on as her own doing the podcast. So she did Pacific Fort Meade area by herself. I did Tampa by myself. But when she did it, it was still like having a part of her roots being advertised in her. So she knew the people that she could reach out, talk to them, have a lot more conversation with them, a lot of interaction, and get a lot of that going. So yeah, it's a lot. You get a lot. And people getting to get put on. People get so shy to talk about their business.
Yeah. I
Your
know that
business
too.
is your baby. Like I told them yesterday, if you say that your business is your baby, promote your business just like it's your baby. If you don't promote your child to play sports, why you ain't promote that business just like you promote your child to play sports? Because it can't be your baby if you ain't trying to promote it. You scared to
You
promote
can't
it.
be secretive and quiet about your
You have to promote.
trying to be
Yeah, promote yourself.
Yeah. People scared,
You
but
gotta
then
also
people
learn
don't know
about
how to.
yourself.
Some
I
don't
know
know how to.
exactly.
That's what it is. Some women don't know how to.
So what type of advice would you give to someone that's in the arena for this? In this arena, would you, as far as the genius episode go, because we're not going to talk about just one thing, how would you give them the advice to straight? Because a lot of people have a lot of the creativeness and different things going on, but they don't know how to get it all into one, to make it their one thing. Because you can have S. Johnson as the enterprise and all these DBAs falling up under that. Explain to them how embracing all of your creativity and making it a part of one falling under one umbrella, how significant that is for them.
Very. I want to say I planned it like that, but once I saw it, I kind of did it and tried to make an umbrella out of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was doing. I was trying to link. It started with the bow tie. Well, actually started back in there with the music that brought the fashion, and it kept going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just really locked into what you're gonna do best and try to bring it to life. You know what I'm saying? And don't look at nobody else and try to I don't try to outdo the next person. I'm too busy trying to do my thing and make it come to life. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's not based on competition.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to write it down, man.
Yeah.
Man, I remember. Listen, before I did my first episode, I was going back and forth for every day. I was recording myself.
I did that.
And I was talking about, oh yes, the car just cut in front of me and blah, 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 blah. And I was just talking. And I was like, and I go home and listen to it. And I'm like, okay, do this, blah, do this, blah. You know what I'm saying? Because I had so many gaps, but since I know how to edit, I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? But it's about practice, man. And that's what ended up.
Joe told me that, Joe, because I told Joe, I was like, Joe, you know, how do you have a conversation with yourself? Because when I started the podcast off, it wasn't me and Queen. It was me by myself for at least half of the first season, first two seasons I was doing SW podcast by myself. And so it was literally straight from the mouth of a black girl. However, I wanted to incorporate somebody because I never wanted it to be a single. I never, the idea wasn't for it to be a single person show. So I would do exactly what you said, drive back to who I was going, I would record myself, listen to myself. And at first, I was like, they got one of the most raspiest voices.
That's unique.
And that's what Joe told me. Joe said, you got a voice that's unique, Shell. He said, I'm glad your voice is where it is. I don't want it to change. He's like, but when you're recording yourself, he said, act like you ain't recording yourself. That's what you got to do. Like, just having a conversation with yourself. And when it's like, you know that you can, when you're actually recording yourself and, having a conversation, you can hear the goodness about the conversation coming from you, your thoughts of hearing it, your actual natural thoughts. It ain't pre-recorded, pre-thought. So that's how we do our show. Everything off the dome.
Well, I started off, and the only reason I do it because it tell you don't speak word for word what you write.
Right.
But since I did music, I know how to do that and make it sound like. Then all of a sudden, when I got a little better at that, I just started putting highlighting topics. So it's kind of like, and I'm go back to the music thing because this is what fools a lot of people. When you hear a lot of artists say, "Oh, I didn't write that. I just freestyled the whole song," lies. What they do is they might have one or two sentences, and they can memorize and they can freestyle. They can put something together. And they can stop, and then they go back. And it's just like podcast. I would write a topic down, and I say, now I can just go and ramble about this topic for 1 or 2 minutes. By the time I finish, I got another topic right here.
Exactly.
Subject, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Subject matter that I'm steady flowing with. So by the time it's already put together.
That's why that's why it's not for everybody. Because the creativeness don't flow like that for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people need to have written down aspects of what they're doing. Some people need to have a plan for what they're going out there doing. Not always though.
Yeah.
But unless you're that type of person that needs that, do that. If what works for you,
Yeah.
please stick to what
I
works
mean,
for you.
my thing is, now, if we talking about sports,
Yeah, write it out.
I wouldn't need.
Well, that's because, of course.
I wouldn't need. If we talking about music, I wouldn't need.
But things that you're not always familiar with.
Yeah, you know.
Which is why we write down our things for the day, which is why we write down posts, which is why we write down key points in the conversation. But for the most part, we're going to flow off that topic.
Yeah.
And the topic going to give us every year, every direction we need to go, because like you said, she might make a point that's going to take us to the next subject, next topic.
Yeah.
It's a
do flow like
that's kind of how we
Well, I do that too when I interview people, because they don't know.
Yeah.
But one thing I do, I never catch them like by surprise. I always send them ahead. I just send them 10 questions that I know I'm gonna ask them, and everything else is pretty much
You didn't get
freestyle.
that. Y'all didn't get that. I'm sorry. I do apologize. We normally send out 5 generic questions. To y'all.
I like off the dome though.
Yeah.
I like off the dome.
This I think is better like
Some
that.
people you can get just to
This
go
right
off
here,
the
It's
dome.
better like that.
Because when we did the Tampa, I said Queen, I was like, Queen, you gonna do generic questions? You gonna do generic questions for Tampa too. Didn't even need it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
it don't flow like that for us. It kind of don't go the same way we do with our show. Everything like just flow. All we need is to flow.
Now when I do my interviews, I do.
Yeah,
Because
interviews that.
But the questions is not the same for everybody.
Right.
So I
How
do
to gear
that.
them toward the interview.
And most of my questions I ask is because I want the listener to have that. know what I mean? They don't
Not
have
to be
do that.
stumbling.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, that's the best thing. That's why when we talk to you guys and we pick our 4 people who we want to meet up with and link up with, there's people who are SMEs, subject matter experts in what they do. You know, we don't need you to be stumbling over stuff like we done threw you up for the loop because it's working. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to do that to anybody. So our biggest thing is definitely provide you with the generic questions that we're gonna force and stick to, but also let you know that everything we're gonna talk about today is strictly based on you. What you do, what you know, who you are.
Well, people, man, this one thing we did. A lot of people don't know why we were so successful as a group. Because of a lot of stuff that we did locally, we prepared ourselves nationally. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we used to practice every Tuesday and Thursday. People don't practice. They just get on stage, hey, and run back and forth. We used to practice. And also, when we practiced, we would do interviews. Like, we was already getting interviewed by.
Yeah, he was preparing himself for that.
So we would do that. And it showed when, you know what I'm saying? It showed during the shows, it showed during the interviews. We was already at it. We'll sit down, we'll prepare each other and say, and we ask each other questions.
I don't think a lot of artists.
No.
A lot of artists.
But see,
That's why they be out there.
now see, our manager came from March 100. We got that because back in the day, that's what they was. So he prepared us, and that's how,
And I always be prepared for the next level. Don't limit yourself to just.
I think my daughter's like that. We've been out, we just playing. I ain't gonna put it out. Let's do an interview. So, Scott, what did you do today? You know, I'm like, she goes and stuff. Yeah. Just get them ready. You know what I mean?
That's right. Because they doing stuff. They're gonna one day have to sit and have these opportunities. So it's gonna happen.
It might not be. It could be a job interview. An interview.
And when you hear and when we're seeing them with that now, you're very familiar with what you're talking about. They love to hear that. Interviewees love it. Interviewers love to hear that. But if you get signed like you just read, you're never going to get that job. You're never going to get that position. You're never going to get that. You're going to take chances on rambling. Study your job before you go to the interview. Study any aspect of what you're trying to do before you show up. Because that's what it is. It's been on me a subject matter expert. So now, to close out here, give the listeners something that they can take with them to branch out and grow on their own if they're afraid to, because a lot of them are. For the ones who are afraid to, but for the people who are already doing things that need a little bit of guidance and direction, what would you say to them?
Preparation plus opportunity equals success. Come on, if you prepare for the opportunity, you will succeed. No matter what you do.
That's right. And that's from Mr. Johnson, Mr. Bowtie Genius, Mr. Nappy Headz, Mr.
Leon kind of ate it.
And thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to get up with us and see us today. We appreciate it.
We had kings today.
Yes. That's right. Keep doing what you do.
Yes.
You're doing
Salute, bro. Salute. I still
Thank
got
you.
my bow ties.
Thank you.
From 2016. I
Good job.
gotta get some more.
Yep.
Gotta get some for there. Gotta get me a hat too.
Okay.
Gotta get me a hat too.
Appreciate you.